Well, we're back in the shop, working on cylinder heads tonight. So I'll show you what we're building. We're looking at 6-liter heads. So these are the 317s. I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna run these 317s. There are heads with a little bit better compression that you can find, but we're ordering pistons anyway, so I'm gonna order pistons with a little bit more compression and keep these heads so I don't have to go searching in the junkyard for different heads. I mean, if these ones look okay once we get them apart. So we're aiming for like 9.5-ish to 1 compression, just so we've got some room for boost and we don't have to run crazy fuel. I've already got this one apart. Hard to see because it's not light, but I'll just show you guys how we get them apart. They're pretty dirty right now, but we'll get the valve springs out and then and the valves obviously, and then we'll get to cleaning them. So with LS valve springs, you need one of these guys, and it just basically goes on there. Simple, right? And we take this guy. And we'll just pop the valves down. One of them, no problem. And flip it up. See that one there? No problem. And then that one needs a little help. And there's the keepers for number 1. What I like to do is I number them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just so they go back in the same hole. And now there's not a lot of wear, but you know, if I'm keeping, like if I can keep the same valve, I'll keep the valve that worked in that guide. And on that seat, I'm gonna lap them, and I might have to get a couple refaced. The other ones I had to reface, but just so they go back in the same guide that they were working fine in, apparently. So that's all there is to that. And for those guys, just use a magnet, and those will come off. And that whole assembly comes back off. And then we can take those out and put them in our bags. Now I gotta flip back over. So that's the number 1. And so that's obviously had some crap sitting in it. So I guess some of the time the tips break off of them, so you got to be careful not to, so you don't see any cracks or anything in that tip. But what we'll do is we'll clean that up on the wire wheel and see how that seat looks. Go in there, pop this exhaust out. Yeah, see, look at all the pitting on that. That probably won't come out with just a lap or a grind. Let's see. You look at this, there's a little bit of a lip on there too, so I'm guessing that's got some miles on it. So probably what we'll do is we'll get them to grind that at the machine shop. Throw a new face on it. Don't look like it was running lean. I'm gonna get the rest of these out. You guys don't need to see every single one of them, so I'll just pull them out, and if we come across anything interesting, I'll show you. All right, well, I got that one cleaned up. And that one is pretty much ready to go. I took the valve seals off. They just sit on the top of the guide. However, I've got one stud that was broken, looks like a long time ago. I'm gonna see if we can get it out with the grips. What are the chances? I need 2 hands for this. Hang on. I think we're just gonna go right to the welder. That's no fun. Welder's more fun. So all we need is a nut. Probably too big. Something a little better sized. Crusty old one. Perfect. And we'll just weld that right on there and just, no problem. Surely. Might be enough. It's still too hot. Oh yeah, no problem. There. And now we can clean them. Boys, I'm a cheap ass. And maybe some of you are too. And I need to clean some cylinder heads. I don't want to spend a whole lot of money cleaning cylinder heads. So we got a test for you. So we got these heads outside. And you have to excuse me. It's kind of getting dark. It's Canada, so it's always dark now. And there's crust. Dirt, grime from years of hanging out in an old Chev truck. And so the hot setup apparently is oven cleaner. And I've never used it. All I've ever used is the engine cleaner. And I brought 2 of them today. So I've got this spray on, grease off, engine degreaser. It's like $10 here in Canada. And so we're gonna throw it up against something that's about half the price. Now it is ZEP. It looks pretty good. I mean, there's lots in it. For you Canadians, it's 538 grams for about $5. And the engine degreaser is $10 for 425 grams. So it's, you know, more expensive by quite a ways. So let's spray them off with some water and see what happens. They're pretty much both the same as far as label goes. You know, just make sure it's warm and dry. And I guess, you know, it's cold out, so we're not going to make sure it's warm. So your results might vary. All right. I don't know how crazy we'll get here. I've always been interested to know if the engine degreaser thing is actually a hot tip, or is it just, even if it was close, it's still quite a bit cheaper. So first up, let's do the engine degreaser on the right. So the actual goods, the official stuff. Real foamy. We don't have any painted surfaces or anything that we have to worry about. So I've used a bunch of the different engine degreasers, like the gunk and I like the gel stuff, but they were out of it, so we got this stuff. So that takes care of that one. Grab the other one here. All right. The full ZEP. Wow. Certainly goes on different. So less of a stream. They both say they're good for, you know, grease and grime and carbon deposits. Got lots in the ports. And I think both of them say wait about 10 to 15 minutes, so it'll probably be dark by the time I check back in. Quick check about halfway. This is the engine degreaser. I don't know if it's just cold. I mean, we're probably going to need to give it a scrub. And that's the Zep oven cleaner. Doesn't really look like either of them are doing too much, so maybe it's just cold. Alright, so we're back on the degreaser one. Stuff's coming off pretty good. Although it may need a bunch of coats and a bunch of scrubbing. But that one's not bad. Pretty much is what we expected on that. And then there's the engine greaser, the oven cleaner one. And that's a little bit more gummy. Both of them feel like you kind of have to scrub a bit. So I guess we'll get scrubbing. Well, it's pretty cold and dark out, so I decided I'd bring them in. I did hose them off. So this is the one with the engine cleaner. I mean, that looks pretty good. Inside is going to be a little different just because I think this one was on the, like there's one that always seems to be a little darker than the other on the inside of these heads. Obviously I didn't really scrape on this side very much. Well, you can see in the ports, the exhaust ports, the actual engine degreaser didn't take any of that stuff out. And this is the Zep oven cleaner. I mean, we still got lots of crap in the intake ports, but did about the same on the on that stuff. Although I will notice that it did take on the exhaust ports a lot of that carbon out. So that's interesting. It seemed like it was just melting the carbon away. Very cool. But I guess we probably have a little bit more to do. I don't know. If it dries up, I can probably just get it with a wire brush in here. I don't really need to go out and hose them with the engine degreaser anymore, but it did work pretty good. Well, I'm just kind of tidying up the last of them. I just kind of used the wire brush on it. I've also got this new little guy. And it's just one of the Milwaukee cordless die grinders. This thing works awesome. And I'm just kind of like being gentle just to take some of the stuff off the surfaces and stuff. But we're going to attack it a little bit. Got a couple different wheels and stuff just to tidy them up. I am going to use this to port the cylinder heads, so that'll be probably another video. There's going to be a whole pile of work doing those, but just to tidy them up enough that I can get into them. All right, well, they cleaned up okay. Now I hit them again with the oven cleaner, just in the combustion chambers and the ports, just because they were getting, it wasn't super clean in there and I couldn't easily get it. So I'm going to take them outside and just give them another hose with water, and we'll have another look and see. I think that'll probably be good, but we'll have another look here in a sec after I get some water on them. And the result, I'd say it's pretty definitive. I didn't clean that at all, but as far as ports, I mean, you see the exhaust ports there? As far as carbon and stuff, I don't think like that. You can't really get much better than that oven cleaner. That is pretty crazy. I didn't really give it much of a scrub for it to look like that either. And some of you guys know how difficult it is to get some of that carbon out of there. That's pretty awesome. And the rest we're gonna get with the porting tools anyway. But what do you guys think? Pretty wild. Oven cleaner, who knew? And I guess a bunch of people knew, but I didn't know. So I'm pretty impressed with that, and we'll add that one to the toolbox from now on. I guess for now, that's pretty good. We'll dig out the porting tools and get after it on the next one. Thanks for watching.